Good evening, good morning, good night, good day, wherever you're listening to this transmission. It is I, your humble servant, Mike Martins, bringing you the trends in the housing market. This is a special God Save the Queen edition, and it is very important. A lot of people are complaining that I don't talk about the UK as much. Very important that we do this God Save the Queen edition. Today is what's today? November 6th, 2017, broadcasting out of Merritt, British Columbia. Yes, small town. No one knows where Merritt, British Columbia is, and it's good because it's small, it's effective, it meets my needs, and it gets me what I need. We got a lot to cover here in the UK. There's a lot of UK going, especially UK edition for all you people. I get a lot of people watching from London, Dublin, Edinburgh, everywhere. Belfast. A lot of people watching my show out there, and I want to thank everyone for actually taking the time to tune in and hear what it is I have to say. Let me just wet my whistle here, or wet my beak. Anyways, it's been a great weekend. Today is, well, if you're listening to me right now in the UK, it is Monday morning. And, yeah, so people are tuning into the comment section. It's the UK God Save the Queen edition, housing crisis, and we're going to calculate a bit of your TDS today. I found a good website that you guys could use to calculate your total debt service ratio. I got a lot of people asking me about, percentage points. How do I feel about this new mortgage? What you call it? When the stress tests and I've been talking about this for like a year. I don't know where anyone's been in the last year, but I don't know who's watching my channel. But I've been talking about these stress tests for the last year. So today on today's show, we're going to show you guys how to basically calculate your total debt service ratio. I found a website. You can do it online. You don't have to go crazy downloading apps and stuff. Very simple. Anyways, let's get to where it is I want to get to today. I put a quick plug here. Mario Desetti's The Lost Canuck is back. Yes, you've heard me right. The Lost Canuck is back. He is back. I don't know what happened, but he's back, and he's back on Facebook. You could find him on Facebook. The Lost Canuck is back making videos. He's made a whole bunch already, talking about pensions, Canadian housing crash, Canada that needs to wake up. Really good videos. I really invite everyone all to check out his videos and see what he's got going on. Let's move on. Prayers going out to homeowners returning in Los Angeles, in California. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Santa Rosa, California. There was a really bad fire there that took out a couple of... Look at the ravaging damage there. And it is pretty bad. What's happened there in California, it's phenomenal. Look at that. And people don't have anywhere to go. And it's really hard for these families. I really feel for them. I really feel for... Look at this. Look at that. Santa Rosa is in Northern California, for those that don't know. And I kind of wanted to put this out there, show you some images of what's going on. It is very sad that this is happening. Hopefully they could seek shelter, and insurance companies will come in and start taking care of what's going on. So there's the photos. Look at the wildfires situation that's happening there before and after. Oh yeah, we got open lines, guys. 1-250-800-1489 if you want to call in. Don't be afraid to call in. Our phone is working. So if you want to call in, please don't be afraid to call in. I got open lines going. They're open right now. And if you're living in Santa Rosa, California, please call in and tell us what's going on the ground there. Look at that, before and after. That's yeah. Look at that. It looks like an oil refinery of some sorts. And look at it before. Wow. Prayers. Now, it's very important we talk about debt service ratio, because no one ever wants to talk about that, because when you walk into an institution to get a mortgage or a product, you're their customer, and they don't want to lose you. They want to do what they can to get your business and save the deal. You know, even if sometimes it means lying, fudging the numbers, or whatever you want to call it. It happens a lot. And the people to blame, I think, are the underwriters, the ones that finally approve the deal and look at the deal. A lot of good underwriters could look at a deal and say, hey, this is going to fall apart in 6 months. I bet you this guy's going to default. And then people had pools in the office, like they would bet to see who's going to go off, who's going to end up bankrupt. And it's really sad. You know, it's people's lives you're talking about. So gross debt service ratio is GDS. To calculate GDS, lenders try to figure out the proportion of your income you would be paying each month to own a particular property. First off, the lender will estimate your annual mortgage payments, property taxes, heating costs, 50% of condo fees, if applicable. The lender will then add up and divide by the gross annual income. If the answer equals 32%, industry standard, the lender can feel confident in your ability to pay your monthly housing costs. The problem is a lot of people's total debt service ratio right now are at 55%. The industry standard used to be 45%. For the longest time, it was 45%. Because people would work the odd cash job on the side, or people would do things on the side, other businesses and stuff, and wouldn't totally, declare all their income. But now 32% to 35% is the proper calculation for your total debt service ratio. Total debt service ratio, TDS, calculates your total TDS. The lender will take the same GDS calculation, but add in another monthly payments you might have to make, including loans or minimum payments or credit card debt. So the lender adds together your mortgage payments, property taxes, and heating costs, 50% of condo fees, debts, and divides the total by your gross annual income. If the answer equals to 40%, the industry standard, the lender will know you have the money to make all your monthly payments. So 40% for TDS used to be 50. Now it's cut back to, it was 45, and now they're cutting it back to 40% total debt service ratio. What happens if I'm over the industry standard? If either of your answers go over than the industry standards, you may want to save more for a down payment. That's very important, people. And or pay off some existing debt before. So pay off some of those small credit cards, because you're paying a blended interest rate with all those credit cards put together. And where were we? The 32 GDS and the 40% TDS standards are guidelines, not rules. If you have a high credit score or some valuable assets, you may still qualify for a mortgage, even if your GDS and TDS are slightly higher than industry standards. The maximum GDS and TDS allowed is 39 and 44% respectively. So I said 40, 45. Before, 10 years ago, it was 50% TDS was allowed back in the day. But they've kind of cut back because people weren't buying food, right? People, I guess, were simulating foods in a simulator, you know, if anybody watches Star Trek. Lines are open, guys. God Save the Queen edition, the UK. A lot of people complaining I don't talk about the UK. Call in 1-250-800-1489 and just put the ringer volume on low, and let's move on. So we're going to calculate your TDS today, guys. Very important that you pay. Hey, look, this guy's wearing a tie. Oh, my God. Guy's special. Better listen to him. Okay, here we go. So now I found a property. Where are we here? Let's open this. Let me move this over here to show you guys. I'm looking at rates. I found a website I want you guys to use to calculate your TDS. Please use this website. It's really good. It's really on par. It's really up to date with what's happening. And somebody is commenting here in the comment section, saying, "Did you know that there is two cities of London?" Yes, there was a book written called "A Tale of Two Cities," and I don't know. I'm joking. I don't know if that's what it was about. I know I'm not gonna go there. I'm not too good with literature because I could barely read. And someone's asking me how the store is doing. The store is doing fantastic. I'm getting ready for Christmas, and follow me on my Opening the Business from Scratch series. So, okay. So this is what the average rate is going for right now. 3-year, 4-year, 5-year term, 2.84%, 2.89%, and then a 3-year, 2.89%. So on $1 million, you're probably going to be paying 20 grand a year in finance charges. $2 million, you're paying about 45 grand a year in finance charges. $3 million, you're paying about $77,000 a year in finance charges. That doesn't go towards the principal, roughly. I'm just giving rough numbers off the top of my head here. Now, I found this little guy here, and I want to share this with you guys. So I found this on a selling site, a popular selling site. I'm not going to post what site it is because I don't want to get sued. I sue you! You talk house! So you talk about someone's house, they automatically get offended and want to sue you. But why wouldn't they want to have their houses promoted and out there and people could see what's available? Why wouldn't they? Like, do people feel consciously that they're doing something wrong? They're hurting somebody's life? You know, I don't know. So I want to show this to you guys. It was a 2-bed, 2-bath, $2.25 million. Not pesos, not bolivares, not pesos. $2.25 million. Maintenance fee, $792.61, 1,370 square feet. Motivated seller! I love motivated sellers. They need to have something like an Oscar award, but bigger, grand, firecrackers. They need a motivated seller award to the most motivated seller. You know what I'm saying? Give them like prizes and trophies for being such a good motivated seller. Now let's get so this is what it says. Great starter unit for a small family to dip into this housing market. Don't get bought out. That should be illegal to advertise. Illegal. Don't forget to call in, guys. 1-250-800-1489. And so getting started with a small family to dip their house. Don't get bought out of the market. Amenities nearby. Recreation, shopping, appliances included. All features. Central location. It has an elevator. Okay, I'm going to read this again. You probably didn't believe what I told you. Central location, elevator. This condo has an elevator. That's why it's how much was it? $2.225 million. 1,370 square feet. Features, central elevator. Oh, it's got garbage disposal in unit. Beat that. I'm not sure if it has running water. I'll figure that out later. Fixtures included. Oh my God. This is a deal and a half. It's got fixtures included. Drapes, window coverings. Maintenance fee, $792.61 a month. Okay. So I'm going to show you the page you're going to want to go to calculate your TDS in case you want to buy into this beautiful market. So this page is paylesspenalty.com. I guess it's called paylesspenalty.com. It's called, and it goes to understanding your GDS and TDS. And then what is GDS and TDS? There's a really good page, guys. You want to check it out if you're looking to buy in the market, or you know someone that's going to buy in the market and you want to talk them out of it because it might be the biggest mistake of their lives. So this is the so we're going to look at what the mortgage payment on that would be if they were to buy it. So let's find a mortgage calculator here real quick. Find a mortgage calculator. Let's find ourselves a mortgage calculator here. Let's see here. The CIBC's got an easy one to use. Oh, it looks like they want to sell me something here. Where's the calculator? There's no calculator. No calculator. Let's see if someone gives me a calculator here. Come on, calculator. Here we go. All right, so this place is 2.225 million. It's a good starter family home. Okay, there's so many numbers in this that I never. Okay, So we'll go with their, so this is TD, this is what we're looking at. We'll do a 4-year fixed. No variable rates. Guys, stay away from the variable rates. Okay, let me just see if I could zoom into this a bit so you can see it. Then I'm going to add, let's say, a 30-year amortization. Okay, and we'll do a monthly payment. No, no, no. Okay. So you're looking at $9,915 a month for a 2-bedroom condo. So this is not good. So someone's commenting in the comment section saying, Mike, if housing was cheaper, would you have stayed in Vancouver? I probably would have stayed in Vancouver, because if properties were cheaper, it would be a different flow of people, because if you would get more of that Seattle grunge type, that whole West Coast, what it used to be, that kind of new families, if housing was in the affordable levels, yeah, I would have stayed in Vancouver, probably by the coast there, a little bit closer to the water. Maybe closer to Stanley Park. I would have bought a house in that area there. I would have eventually. Yeah, that's what I would have done, right? But no. And then because the housing is expensive, it brings a whole flow of different people into the town. And it's people you don't want to deal with, you know? You just don't want to see these people, you know? Okay. 80-year amortization is a new way that's going. Okay. So this is a $9,000. So let's go back if you're just tuning in. 2-bed, 2-bath, $2.2 million. Maintenance fee, $792, 1,370 square feet. So let's say, buddy, okay, this is not going to work because it's way too much money. This is $9,950 a month for a starter unit for a small family. So $9,950. Let's say this guy that's going to buy that condo puts down half the money. Okay? So let's be fair here, okay? Let's be oh man, did I close my TDS calculator? Damn, I closed my TDS calculator. Oh Christ. Let me find it again. It's called calculate my TDS, please. Yes. I think it was this one. You have to go through like 40 of them till something comes up that yeah, you're gonna get a lot of pages that take you nowhere. And did I just close that one again? No. All right, let's keep going. Let's find it. So this way you could find the here we go. I think it's this one. Nope. Oh, why is this so complicated? Okay, here it is. Okay, so affordability. Okay, so let's say Buddy's annual income's $90,000 a year for the family. We'll say total, right? Property tax, let's say $2,500 a year. Condo fees in this thing was $792.61. Remember, guys, this is advertised as a starter family home. Heating costs a lot more than that. Let's say $175. And credit cards. Let's say Buddy's got $13K in credit cards, which is probably the norm. Car payment. Let's say $560 for cars. Other loans. Let's say he owes Jimmy Hoffa some money. So let's say he's got $3K in outstanding loans to Leon's Furniture or something. So how much can I afford? Your max affordability is $99,000. Okay, so okay, maybe I put $10,000 a year for income. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's $90,000 a year. Property tax. Oh no, that's monthly. Oh Christ. Okay, let me fix this, guys. $180. I am sorry. Condo fee $793. Monthly payments on credit cards. So let's say $300. Car payment $560. The other loans, let's put $190. How much can I afford? $454,000. Yeah. So basically, if you're making 90 large a year gross, the maximum you could afford is 454. Wow. So this is a really good calculator, actually. It tells you what your it gives you a good insight of what's going on here. Oh, someone's commenting here. Margaret O'Brien, debtor's prison in New Zealand. It costs about $1 million a year to keep someone in prison. So I can't see the society accepting that cost for non-payment of mortgage debt. Wow. All right, let's continue here. So basically, if you wanted to own that house, so that house is $2.25 million. So let's say, for argument's sake, the guy has 50% to put down. And the guy is just out of his mind. He puts 50% down on a 2-bed, 2-bath condo, 1,300 square feet. Motivated seller. Great starter unit for a small family to dip their housing into the housing market. Don't get bought out. So let's say the guy makes $230,000 a year. Let's see what $230,000. How much can I afford? There you go. If you make $230,000 a year, you could afford $2 million. You could almost buy this. Your down payment should be $402,000. 30-year mortgage with a total monthly mortgage payment of $6,632. Land transfer tax will cost you $38,000. I kind of wanted to put that out there for you guys because I really want you guys to this is a really good, this is actually a little bit less complicated than a TDS, total debt service ratio calculator, because it goes by percentages. This is actually really good. It's called mortgage affordability calculator because it goes by the home price, mortgage required, payment, but it also breaks it down, I'll show you, into inputs. So if you're honest with other expenses, I would recommend to put food, beverages, things, everything like utilities like cell phones and stuff that you wouldn't normally put on an application like this. I would actually take all those expenses like car insurance, cell phone bill, like stuff, paper route, I don't know, whatever you pay for your newspapers, whatever you pay for your coffee, it adds up. Coffee adds up to a couple of grand a year. So it's good to actually put that in there on a monthly payments, right? So let's say you're having a coffee a day, it's $5, let's say, plus other expenses and blah, blah, blah. Let's say you did the cell phone bill, you did everything, it puts you up to $450 a month, right? How much can I afford, right? So that goes down, right? So it's very important that you're honest with yourself, you're honest with your lender, and you're honest because you don't want to get into a predicament where this happens, right? Because people are going to wanting to start to jump on the bandwagon when housing prices start to dip. And people are very anxious because a lot of people have been waiting on the sidelines for over 100 years now. I'm being sarcastic, but for anywhere from 5 to 10 years. And people have been waiting. You know what I'm saying? So this is what's holding back people from starting a family, is that they just can't afford. So this guy is a motivated seller. Get a starter unit for a small family to dip into this housing market. Don't get bought out. That should be illegal, man. That should be illegal to advertise like that. $792.61 a monthly fee. So to afford that 2-bedroom condo, 2-bath, you need to make $230,000 a year. You know, that's just my opinion. I want you guys to kind of, don't take what I say, just kind of do it yourself. Do your own research, people, because no one else will look out for you. Let's move on. Let's God save the Queen. Oh, we got so much. We got Oh, there was a mortgage payment calculator. Let me close that. Top employer employer offering loans so staff can afford to rent in Dublin. Wow. There was another article I had up here. I'm closing articles today. And I don't know why, so I'm going to open it back up again. Scotland. Something's happening in Scotland, and they're right now, I think it's Edinburgh. I'm gonna find this later. It's about in Edinburgh, the housing okay, what's the capital of Scotland? I just have to get this right, guys. I'm sorry. I know I have it right. I know I have this right. Yeah, Edinburgh. I was spelling it wrong. Okay, let me look this up for you guys. It's a really good article. It's very important for people living in Scotland. And people are complaining I don't talk about the UK enough. You know what I'm saying? So, here it is. I feel better now. I really wanted to get this article in for you guys. I really did. Let's put it to the top here. This is very important. This is from the Telegraph. House prices, Scotland powers up as Edinburgh jumps into first place. So this now, officially, this puts every English-speaking country capital, its capital, as the most expensive cities or city to live in. Hence, the capital of Canada is Ottawa, but every major city in every province, minus Quebec and minus Alberta, they're seeing huge price increases in the major cities. And the Scottish housing market has accelerated, with Edinburgh recording the fastest house price growth of all UK cities, while the rest of the market is stuck in neutral. So you know what's happening? People are moving around. That's what's happening. Brain drain. So check this out. It has overtaken northern cities such as Manchester and Birmingham, with house prices growth 6.7% the year September. Glasgow also recorded a significant increase in growth, up from 1.8% a year ago to 5.3%, while Aberdeen's rate of house price decline has eased from 10 points to last to 1.8%, the strongest position in 2 years. So here it is, people. Look at Aberdeen. It's in negatives. House prices growth, UK's top 20 cities. It's a really good article, especially because I don't talk about the UK a lot. Here it is. Edinburgh, number 1, jumps to first. Manchester, followed by, really closely, by 2.2 of a market. Birmingham, Bournemouth, Leicester, Glasgow, Bristol, Portsmouth, Nottingham, Southampton, Leeds, Liverpool, and Belfast, Newcastle, Carford. So this is London, and this is basically, you see how London's falling down the ladder? There's a huge house prices rising or falling. It depends on which of these five indices you look at. So, very good article. I recommend you guys to read it. It's very long, but it gets into what's happening in Scotland, and it's happening in all major cities of all English-speaking countries. They are being plagued with this problem where affordability is just not there anymore. And when affordability is not there anymore, people hold back on having children, people hold back on starting or getting married, people hold back on starting their lives, people hold back on getting a good job, people hold back all kinds of life, travel, all kinds of life, because they can't lay roots and settle. Very good article. This is a good one. This is a really good one. Top employer offering loans so new staff can afford to rent in Dublin. Oh my God. Why don't the employer give them incentive to give them some money to move there, like a transfer fee? I mean, they give transfer fees to soccer players, $10 million, $5 million transfer fee. I mean, why don't they just, you know, we got hockey players getting incentives and transfer. Why don't they give employees that are going to help grow your company 5,000-10,000 pounds or punts or whatever they use in Ireland? Why don't they just give them a bit of leeway, help them out, get them started? Top employer offering loans. Imagine, yeah, I'm opening a company, but no one could afford to live in where I'm operating out of, so I'm gonna have to give people money to move. But you're giving them another loan. It's another loan. One of the country's biggest employers of new graduates has been forced to introduce interest-free loans to help new recruits secure rental accommodation in Dublin. Someone's commenting here, I don't think anyone would take that deal. Brian's watching. Brian, why don't you call into the show, buddy? 1-250-800-1489. People call in. Let's go. Help me out here. Help me thrive a bit. The country managing partner and accounting and advisory giant EY, Mike McCurr, has told the Irish Independent that his firm is providing the interest-free loans on flexible terms to graduate trainees in order to ensure that they are able to secure accommodation and so take up placements in Dublin. The move is clear signal that the housing crisis is now seriously. I've been talking about this for 5 years now? Threatening to choke the economic development. For the first time, we have offered all graduate recruits interest-free loans to get them over the hurdle of getting set up in Dublin, Mr. McCurr said. Average rents in Dublin City are now 1,741 euros per month. That's like 2,200 US, and that's like friggin', that's so much money in Canadian dollars. Or that's about 2,000 US, yeah, and about 2,400 Canadian, according to the latest survey from the Daft IE. Is everyone asleep out there? I mean, is anyone even, like... Even then, shortages mean that it can take weeks to find a place to live. Some landlords in the capital are now demanding 2 months' rent deposit to secure accommodation, which is beyond the budget for many. Imagine, you got to put down $5,000, 5,000 euros, 1,741 first month, second month. Then you have to pay damage deposit and everything over 5,000 euros. EY took on 241 graduates in the past fiscal year. A role with the firm is seen as springbrook to professional career. In May of this year, the firm was named Graduate Employer of the Year of the Greaterland Awards. Starting salaries for the new graduates who train at the firm range for 24,000 euros to 31,000 euros. Wow, after taxes, you can't do it. Unless you're 100% debt-free, 100%, and you don't have a vehicle, you don't have car insurance, and you're not paying life insurance, you're not paying a lot of things, you could probably rent a room for that, for a bit cheaper, and you probably could get by if you don't eat a lot of food. If you tend to eat a lot, you can't do it. You can't make it. 31,000 euros a year. And your rent is going to be almost 2,000 a month. The math doesn't work. I'm not a mathematician, but is anyone paying attention to what's going on here? Okay, EY is to recoup money through its payroll, so it's effectively an advance on wages. It has 7 offices across Ireland, but the loan scheme is only needed in Dublin, where the accommodation crisis is created a danger that some recruits won't be able to take up jobs. The news comes as the American Chamber of Commerce in Ireland. It's funny how it's called the American Chamber of Commerce in Ireland, which represents big U.S. employers here, warned that the lack of housing risked making the country less attractive for investment. See, when they're saying investment and free market to come and invest, they were talking about free market coming to invest in our markets, create jobs, factories, production, open businesses. That's what they want. You know, that's what they want investors to do. For the longest time, investors would, like, not maybe 20% of investors were just laundering money. Didn't even care of the country. So, like, and then now, all the investors, they're just buying up real estate. They're not investing in the markets. They're not putting money in where it counts. And that's what's happening, you know? So that's why they need to fix or kind of create a way to fix this problem. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, AmCham members are the backbone of Ireland's foreign direct investment FDI sector and employs 150,000 staff there. Risk. It goes here on to say that yesterday, IDA Chief Executive Martin Shannon downplayed the immediate risk to investment danger, but admitted that the housing crisis is now being raised by potential investors when they look at Ireland. We are aware, obviously, that the residential housing is a challenge at the moment. It is a function of rapidly growing economy and the fact that Ireland has strong demographics, told the RTE Radio Ones this week. I think what the AmCham are doing in their reports is pointing to future demand. It's something that companies would point to as an issue. They want to ensure going forward that there are plans in place to supply residential housing, but also that the government priority that the steps are being taken. So this is something that the government needs to come in, because free market is great, but it's really bad for the local citizen because it does nothing for them but buy out their futures. So that's what's happening in Dublin. They're so desperate to get people to work that they're lending them money for their first, it looks like, second month rent. This is a big no. Big no-no. Big no-no. The Irish Times. Use Dublin's green spaces to build homes, says chief. Okay, that's the green space. House, across the street, water, house. You're going to get rid of that little piece of green space, a little bit of solidarity in the town, a little bit of peace and tranquility to put more houses and condos? How many empty units do you have in Dublin? What, 10, 20,000 empty units? Why don't they start factoring in and start taxing the people that leave their units vacant? How about that? Now they're going to take people's tranquility away, their green space. Now, Brian White's commenting in the comment section. Who needs local population when you can replace them and run a country like a company? And the central bank can just buy up assets like as if it is a huge hedge fund now. Keyword there, Mike, central bank hedge fund. Yeah. But the problem is, people need to exist for any of this to work. So, what do you guys, if you're watching this in Dublin, I know you're watching this in Dublin, why is this happening? Why are they taking these little piece of I call it a piece of tranquility. Little place you can take your dog, sit down, put down, look at that little acreage there. You can just sit there, just get away from everything, put some earplugs on, lie down on a beach mat or something, just relax, enjoy the breeze, watch the sunset or whatever. It's gone. They're taking this. Dublin needs more homes. The higher densities, he said, but existing homeowners were not supportive of measures needed to provide those homes. Some of Dublin's green spaces should be considered for development of houses in the public interest, Chief Executive of Dublin City Council Owen Keegan said. Almost 26% of land in Dublin City is zoned for amenity open space. That's nice. That's beautiful. Which includes parks, playing fields, nature reserves, and other green spaces. That's really nice. These lands, along with waterways, protection land, and other and the other lands in the city where housing is prohibited. Hey, maybe that's good. It keeps a balance, right? Speaking to the Urban Land Institute conference in Dublin on Thursday, Mr. Keegan said the open space lands should be assessed for their value to the community and their potential to provide housing. No, to provide housing. No, that's not going to work. It's going to be sold to the highest contractor, the highest bidder, and then what's going to happen is they're going to build a bunch of places, and then it's going to be bought by foreign investors, and it's going to be left empty, or it's going to be bought by locals at really high money, like big dollars, and that's going to basically put people into worse condition than they're better off. You know what I'm saying? They're worse now. So Dublin's green space protected. Please don't get rid of it, please, people. Sorry guys, I got a runny nose today. I don't know why. So listen to this. People living in London. I've been talking about this on a weekly basis about the amount of empty units in London. They keep complaining that there's not enough supply to feed the demand, and they're talking about what's happening in blah blah blah, London this, London that, and this huge brain drain in London. Well, listen to this. Buy to leave. Profits dwarf meaningless fines for London investors. Buy to leave means leave vacant, right? Accidentally leaked data in Kingston and Chelsea reveals that a total of just $85,000 in penalty fines last year across $500 million worth of empty property. No one's addressing the empty properties, and it's becoming a problem. So let's check out what's going on. The largest penalty last year on the 89 properties analyzed. So they taxed 89 empty properties, and there's probably 500 million that it said. So tens of thousands of empty properties. Okay, watch this. Was £1,426 for a $9 million mansion in Notting Hill. So somebody got fined basically $2,000 American for an empty mansion, a $9 million mansion in Notting Hill. This is not helping the situation. If these politicians really want to dig in and make some money, instead of raising taxes, and God forbid they create jobs and tax your wage, God forbid they do that. Well, why don't they start taxing these empty units and start actually getting some revenue off these empty units? You want to leave it empty? You know Paris. You know what Paris is. You know what Paris is charging? I'll show you. Just typing it in here. Let's see if I can find it here. Here it is. Vacant homes, a global epidemic, and Paris fighting with a 60% tax for vacant homes. 60%. You think they play around in France? They're sick and tired of all these empty units in Paris and France and Orléans and all those other cities where there's so many empty homes. So there's a massive shortage of housing for people to live. 107,000 in Paris. 107,000 vacant homes, representing 75% of all units. Do you understand? 107,000 empty vacant units. What are they doing? They're tripling the tax now to 60%. You want to leave your unit empty in Paris? Go ahead, give it a try, see what happens. That's what a lot of countries need to do. So I'm going to leave that open there. So this is what they're doing. So the largest penalty on 89 properties analyzed was £1,426 for a $9 million mansion in Notting Hill. This is horrible, people. This is... So they're making fun of the people, you know, basically making fun of the people. The giant London property investors from leaving homes empty has far outstripped the penalties they face. Doing so, the Guardian investigation has learned. Owners of homes of combined value of $500 million in the ultra-rich borough of Kensington and Chelsea were fined a total of £85,000 for leaving them empty last year, a survey of vacant properties suggests. Well, that's, I mean, one of those people could just pay the whole bill for everybody. Yeah, I'll flip the bill this time. We'll put our names in the hat next year. I'm out. Let's see who flips to $85,000 a year to cover that bill, you know? The figures can be reported due to accidental release earlier of this year for a confidential database, which for the first time identified hundreds of properties left empty for the last 2 years, as well as their owners. The single largest penalty imposed of 89 properties on the survey was £1,426, even though the property, a $9 million 6-story mansion in Notting Hill area, has increased a value of approximately £1.1 million since it was acquired 3 years ago. So you see what's happening here? You know, it's getting out of control. People can't afford to buy and people can't afford to rent. And people can afford to rent. They can't because there's 50,000 empty units around them. Of course it's going to be expensive to rent. The second those 50,000 units go back, look at this, let's go back to Paris. Look at Paris. 107,000 vacant homes. Those homes go up for rent the next day. Let's say there's a government seizure, forfeiture. Take those units away. All those units go up for rent at modest prices. All the landlords across the country will have to lower their rents. They have to compete. 107,000 units times 3 people per unit. Do the math. 4 people per unit depending on the size. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of cake. So buy to leave. Look at that. One flat worth £99,000 in 2001 is now worth an estimated £1.5 million. Yet the owner of the property, an apartment in the attractive ward of Counterfield, was charged just $1,000 last year for leaving it empty. That's cheaper than property tax, man. It's worth $1.5 million. It doesn't even cover 0.25% interest. Yeah, so that's what's happening, man. I think what the problem with London, or what's happening right now in the UK, especially in London, I think they need to come down with a proper strategy. They need to sit down. They need to analyze what's going on with they have to find out who's homeless first. Then they have to find out how many empty units they have. Okay. Then they have to find out how many people that live in the units, that are living in the units, are actually citizens and actually pay taxes. Because we're having a problem where people aren't where people own multi-million-dollar homes, but they're collecting welfares and they're collecting child tax benefits because their income is zero. So if people are living in a home and that's happening, even though they're making multi-million dollars overseas, that's another problem. So you got to factor in all these little factors, kind of build a brainstorm it all out, get things on the go, break things down into a chart, find out what is happening, where it's happening, what the problem is, and then start cracking it down, because this is not going to get any better. It's going to get, if anything, it's going to get worse. Look, listen to this. This is from the Telegraph. Building homes over London's open railways could solve the capital housing shortage. This is nuts. Why would you want to build houses over that? I mean, would it make sense? It's not a subway. I mean, in New York, you got the subways and everyone lives above. But I mean, you do have above ground subways, but that's you're not building over it. Yeah, I just want to know what you guys think of this. Building over London's open rail lines is the latest suggestion to solve capital housing crisis, with the potential to board over enough space to develop 250,000 new homes, research has found. I don't know about this. This is... I don't know why they're why don't they just go after the empty units? We just talked about the empty units. Why don't they figure out what's going on with these empty units? This is... A report from engineering firm WSP, which worked on the shard of skyscraper, has proposed the around 10% of the capital's 1,142 kilometers of open rail lines could be boarded over and blocks of homes built on top. This could provide space for 250,000 homes in blocks of an average of 12 stories, enough for new dwellings to satisfy the capital's housing need for 5 years. I don't think the capital needs a housing need. I think the capital needs to find out why there's so many empty units and find out who's living in these units too, right? See, Amazon's London headquarters, and it sits over national rail lines. Chelsea's football club New Ground will also sit over a district line and overground the line. I don't know. This could be. What earthquakes, tsunamis, water. They got to start taking all this stuff into effect. Like, it's we got somebody calling in. Hello?
All this stuff into effect.
Hello?
Hello, is this Mike Martin?
Yes.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing? Oh, guys, it's a Walking Journey calling in. Guys, don't forget to check his channel out, Walking Journey. Very important man down there, and he left California.
So what's going on with you, Mike?
Nothing. I'm reading stories here about today's God Save the Queen special. We're talking about the UK and what's happening with the housing crisis.
Man, that's a worldwide phenomenon by the looks of it, man.
So how are housing right now in Texas? What's going on? Tell us is housing going up there or it's staying the same?
Well, I don't really keep track of the housing prices because, to be honest with you, Mike, I live on land.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit different from the regular houses.
Mm-hmm.
I keep hearing that the house values have been going up.
Okay. And tell people, how much did you buy your house and your land for in Texas?
Well, we purchased here in 2013 of February.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry, excuse me, 2014 of February.
Mm-hmm.
I got the land. I got 3 acres for $21,000, and I got the trailer house for $36,000.
Yeah, it's a nice house you have too. It's actually very nicely put together.
3 bedroom, 2 bathrooms. My goal is to upgrade though to a double wide, and my goal is to put up a fence, a driveway. There's a lot of things I want to do. Put up a barn, a garage, but I just need the funds. I'm very stubborn. I refuse to get anything on credit. So
yeah, I know you're like me. You don't buy things on credits. Yeah. You could build a nice barn to put all your stuff away too.
I want to get some cows, chickens. Those are all future plans.
Yeah, you live off grid. Yeah. Maybe you can start an off-grid series on YouTube. And, I know you have your Walking Journey series that you're talking about, what's going on. Maybe you could start an entire new show for us called Off-Grid with Anthony, and then slowly start putting together your barn, maybe put together some solar panels. Maybe, do you have a well on your place?
Yes, sir. I don't pay no water.
Okay, so you got a well.
The only bills I pay, Mike, is my homeowner's insurance. And that is pretty much voluntary because I don't have a lien holder.
Mm-hmm.
But I still pay it because I don't have the money to buy a whole new home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, I pay my light bill, my trash bill. I just got done paying property taxes about a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about it.
Okay. So that's all you pay. And your cell phone and your car and all your stuff, right?
Oh, yes. I forgot to mention, of course, my cell phone, my car insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And here where I live, there's no homeowner association.
Yeah, of course.
That, or I'm not governed by no homeowner association.
Well, you don't want to be part of that. That's a bunch of crap anyway.
You got to be a sucker to have a homeowner association.
Yeah, that's how some people feel, and then some people feel they want to be part of it, to be part of, some people feel that they need to be part of an association, to be more protected, but I don't know, in my opinion, I think it's organized crime. It's a mafia.
Oh, man, the homeowner association owns everything. That's something that the people don't seem to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
In cahoots with the government because they artificially keep the rates up. I mean, the homeowners' value goes up. Even if you're like, you can live in a what they call subdivision. That's another code name for homeowner association.
Mm-hmm.
You can have like people in front of you doing crack cocaine. The house next door, prostitution. The other house, like literally, like you know what I mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
and your house will be worth like $250,000 just to collect the money.
Wow. So what's your next plan on your property? What are you gonna build?
Man, right now I'm just trying to get a different job, Mike.
Oh, are you working now?
Yeah, I have a job, but I'm looking for another job, Mike.
Oh yeah, you told me that. Yeah, you told me you're looking for another job. I've been watching your channel. Yeah, been watching your drives home. You're kind of frustrated with the job you have right now. You know what I'm saying?
I really hate my job. It's making me horrible.
Yeah, well, you know what? At least you're not in over your head, so you're not in a position where your job is your lifeline, but it's not really your lifeline because you're not in so much debt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, stay away from dead people. That's all an illusion. And be like Mike.
Yeah, same thing with you. You have no debt. You know what I'm saying? We have no debt. We both bought cash down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people out there do exist that do buy cash down. But you left LA County, right?
Yeah, I lived at that big giant trash can called California. And
Yeah.
I got a family member that just called me and said, "Oh, what are you talking about?" And she told me, "I would never spend the night in your house because you live in a rural area and it's most likely really dangerous." I'm like, "All right, well, don't come
I
over."
think it's more dangerous to be in a dense area in Los Angeles.
So I told her, "Well, you live in Whittier, California, and on the other side of the 605 freeway is a really dangerous, horrible area."
Yeah, the east side of 605, right?
Yeah, the 605. I told her anybody could just walk over underneath the overpass and just walk to your house and kill you.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I'd rather be in an open rural area. Like I'm living here in Merritt. I'm in a small town. I'm enjoying life. And open my business and just kind of being self-sufficient and just living my life. You know what I'm saying?
I cannot live in California. Well, to begin with, I don't vaccinate my children. I don't put poison in my kids.
Yeah, there's a vaccination law in California, right?
That's one reason too. I'm not gonna pay $1,400. I took your. I remember you were telling me that the rents and everything went up in California because I don't keep track anymore. And then
Yeah.
like, what is Mike talking about? So I looked into it. Mike, you're right. The same apartment I used to live in, $960 a month, and now it's $1,400.
Yeah, that's are you talking about last week's show?
I don't know. You were telling me on the phone. I don't know if you told me
No,
on
it
the phone.
was last week's show. I was talking about the huge exodus in California, where the price of living last Wednesday, where the price of living is just rent is out of control there.
No, they got like a 15-cent. Was it gas increase? They're gonna raise.
Yeah. 50% increase.
They're gonna raise car registration like $200.
Yeah. Yeah, it's out of control right now in California. I know it is. I'm gonna do a California edition show. Maybe what I'll do is I'll break down the trends in the housing market and do more focused on Sunday nights. What I could do is I could actually focus on one major capital, one major city. Like this weekend, this Sunday, I'm doing the United Kingdom because I got a lot of people messaging me complaining that I'm not talking about the UK enough. I'm not talking about England and Ireland. I do talk about it, but they want me to focus or do. So I'm doing an independent show every Sunday covering a specific area, right? Maybe next week I might do Australia only, or I might do Los Angeles, California only. California, Portland, and Washington State. They're out of control, right?
Man, everything's upside down, man. It's crazy, man. Now I'm reading your comment section here. It says, hold on, what does it say? Well, some guy's saying here that people that screwed up California moved to other areas and then screwed them up. I never screwed up California. It was just the way it is, and I realized I couldn't change California. I think his name is Brian White with the frog face. But anyway.
Yeah, that's Brian. He always comments on my channel. He's a good guy.
I moved out of there because it doesn't coincide with my values and my way of life, and I'm not gonna sit there and get ripped off and pay $1 million for a house.
Yeah, you're paying $1 million for a house that's worth $200,000.
I wouldn't even give it that.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, bud. I know what you're saying. Anyways, I'm gonna let you go because I want to finish these two articles I have here, and see.
Good night. Remember everyone, because I know it's gonna be re-uploaded. Please comment and subscribe to Mike Martin.
Yep. When are you going to have a call-in segment on your show?
Anytime, buddy.
No, when are you going to have a call-in segment like this, where people call into your show live?
I don't have the fancy technology like you, Mike, to put up a phone number on the screen.
Dude. Fancy technology. You know what I have? Friggin', what's it called? Magic Jack. Magic Jack.
Put a piece of paper. Unless I write the phone number on my forehead, maybe.
Yeah. Anyways. Okay, so could people call in? There's people in the comments asking about illegals or people in the country. Why don't people call in? And okay, Anthony, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for calling into the show. I appreciate it. And people, don't forget to subscribe to the Walking Journey channel with Anthony, who left Los Angeles and now lives in Texas.
All right, God bless you.
Have a good night. God bless you. Bye. So that was Anthony, guys. Very important person. So London, November 1st. This was a few days back. I kind of want to cover this. No to micro homes are not the answer to London's housing crisis. So the whole micro home thing that they put up a few months back is dead in its tracks. They're not doing the micro homes anymore in London. And this could have or would have or should have helped in a way. But unfortunately, they are no longer doing the micro homes. I want to read this little piece here for you. For many people, the notion of home is a sanctuary, a place where we can retreat from our trials of tribulations of the world outside. It's tempting to take off the roof over our head for granted, but for an increased number of Londoners, fulfilling the basic need is out of reach. It's pretty bad, people. So if you're living in London, if you want to call in, please call in. This is the God Save the Queen Trends in the Housing Market England edition. Everyone complains I don't talk about the UK enough. Well, I'm doing a special segment just for you guys. I've been covering a lot of good stories. If you want to kind of maybe move your cursor to the beginning of the show and watch from the beginning, there's some pretty good stuff. And let's move here. So exactly what's happening in Dublin is happening in London. London's housing crisis hurting businesses, survey says. Yeah, if you got, what was it? How many homes? 30,000 empty homes. No one's grocery shopping. No one's buying clothing. Nobody's buying electronics. Nobody's living there to work in the area because the place is empty. What do you think is going to happen? Of course it's going to hurt businesses. The councillor could help address London's lack of affordable housing by allowing London boroughs to borrow more money to build new homes. God, could they just please find out who owns these empty homes and ask them, force them to rent? Let's go back to France, if you're just tuning in. Vacant homes are a global epidemic in Paris, is fighting it with a 60% tax. Paris decided that it's had enough of implementing tax in 2015. They didn't quite get the results they wanted, so they're tripling the tax to 60%. 107,000 vacant homes in France. And then tons of homes that are not even connected to the electrical grid. So these cheap-ass investors are saying, oh, I don't want to pay any electricity, even a basic hookup. I don't want electricity. 40,000 of them are not even connected to the electrical grid. So this is what's happening here in London. Councillor could help address London's lack of affordability. A recent LCCI commission poll, Commerce, over 1,000 London businesses found that 48% ranked better availability and affordability of housing was as the top of ways to improve the retention in staff. See, London's suffering. Every major city is suffering from a brain drain crisis. Okay, they make more housing, the city gets bigger, less people, qualified people live in the city because they can't afford it, and then look what happens. Now the business is going to have to relocate. I'm telling people right now, business owners. I did it. I sold my big business in Vancouver. It was doing really well, very lucrative. You know what? I got a little small thing. I paid almost nothing for rent. My rent is cheap. I make my rent in 1 day. I could close like 2 weeks of the month and just, do nothing. It's cheap. So what I'm saying is that maybe relocating your business might be the way to do it. If you've been in retail all your life, man, open maybe a small retail store. Cut that size in half, cut the rent in half, cut the staff in half, and move somewhere where there's people that want to work. Move to somewhere where people could buy. People will buy your stuff, because when you have a bunch of empty homes and half the city's empty, and the people that are living in the units don't want to spend more than $5 on anything they buy, don't even waste your time. It's like trying to pull blood from a rock, you know what I'm saying? So, same thing happening in Dublin, happening in London. New figures claim London needs 66,000 new homes every year to sort out its housing crisis. 66,000 a year. Well, if you want to invest in a company in London, I say to invest in a construction company, because you will get jobs, you'll get contracts. London needs to build 66,000 new homes every year to meet its growing need to put right years of underinvestment in housing, but to do some more government funding is needed for affordable houses, it is claimed. The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, is calling on the government to commit to profoundly boosting the funding of powers available to London in the forthcoming budget on 22nd of November in order to meet this need. He says that as a first step, there must be a return of government funding for affordable housing to the level it was at in 2010. This whole affordable housing is a trap. Why don't they just create jobs that pay well? Because everybody wants to have a meaningful, payful jobs. Why don't they just get the people with all these student loans first, the jobs that were promised, these great jobs when they graduated, waiting for them, that are not waiting for them, and give those people first their jobs that bought into this hoopla of student loans, and then get them good paying jobs, and then start trickling down and then hiring more people and start building some sort of a pyramid. I don't know, man. Stop getting off the affordable homes and start paying people more money so they could buy homes. I don't think Winston Churchill could have said that any better. Housing crisis is also a threat to sustaining jobs. Again. Same thing. It's from November. It's from today. Most of us are now well aware of the horrors of homelessness and the difficulties of families of lower income face in getting a home. It's hard to overstate the impact of the housing crisis on children especially, but frequently we are made aware of other effect of the housing crisis, especially in Dublin. Another article from Dublin, where people can't afford to rent. And the first article I read at the beginning basically links to this, saying the same thing. And there's 2 articles now written about this, because it's becoming a massive problem. Employers can't hire people because they can't afford to live in the areas where their companies are. Yeah, I want to know what you guys think. I want you to see your comments below. I'm gonna be on time. I'm always on time on Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Tijuana time, 9 p.m. LA County time, 9 p.m. Vancouver time, 9 p.m. Seattle time. If you guys want to call in to trends in the housing market, please call in on Wednesday. I got a lot of people listening and watching from everywhere. Don't be shy. I mean, it's just me. I mean, it's just my magic jack. You know what I'm saying? Just hanging out here, talking about the housing, talking about what's going on, talking about what I think people should know some of this stuff. I think this is stuff I think you'll never learn in school. I mean, I don't think you'll ever learn any of this stuff in school. I don't know why. But this is crucial because people make mistakes. They buy into markets. Motivated seller. So go back, if you're just tuning in now, go back to the beginning of the show. I teach you guys how to calculate your TDS, your total debt service ratio. I found a 2-bed, 2-bath, $2.25 million maintenance fee, $792 a month, 1,370 square feet. Motivated seller. Get your starter unit for a small family to dip into the housing market. Don't get bought out. That's got to be illegal to advertise that. Amenities nearby. Recreation, shopping, appliances included. So you get a fridge, a dishwasher, and a microwave. Wow, for $2.25 million. Wow. All features, central location, elevator. It's got an elevator, guys. It's got an elevator. Garbage disposal unit. Fixtures included. Drapes and window coverings. Maintenance fee, $792 for $2.25 million. I thought I was reading it wrong. I thought it was $2,200 or $225,000. I thought, okay, that's okay. But I saw $2.25 million. What is going on here? Yeah, anyways, people are commenting here in the comment section stating that Anthony Walking Journey wants to go back to Orange County, and I don't think Walking Journey wants to go back to California. I think he's happy where he is. I'm happy where I am. I'm happy to have a place over my head, and trust me, I don't take it for granted. I know every day. I count my blessings. Anyways, guys, this is your UK special. Ireland, Scotland. I was going to cover Wales, but things are kind of okay in Wales right now. But I want to know what you guys think. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and tune into Trends in the Housing Market, where I talk about all the markets from Canada, United States, Australia, New Zealand, and the UK, and sometimes South Africa. Love to hear from you guys. Maybe next time, Wednesday, you guys could call in. Don't be shy. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button.